Today we're going to be talking about the best college camps to attend. We're going to talk about the camps that you want to avoid as a recruit, some of the best camps that you actually want to attend, and then some of the best things that you could do to get noticed and stand out at those camps. Now, first things first, the camps that you want to try to avoid are going to be camps where you are not known or do not know anybody on that specific college's staff. So we're talking solely about college camps right now, and then we're going to get into some exposure camps as this video goes on. And I think honestly, all exposure camps are bad news in most cases, right? So let's say you're a recruit, let's say maybe you're a sophomore in high school, freshman in high school, and you have never spoken to a college coach has never came to your high school, you have never communicated with them, you have no communication with them on Twitter via DM, you've never emailed with them back and forth, nothing. You should avoid going to those types of camps where those coaches are in attendance because you're not going to get anything out of it. And what I mean by that are the bigger camps. Like I'm talking where it's a single school camp. If let's say, for example, you live in Colorado, right? Let's say you play 4A, 5A ball in Colorado. You're at a pretty big school. Some guys get recruited out of there. Some guys go to Division II schools, whatever. And your thinking is, oh, I'm going to go to the University of Colorado's camp and I'm going to get exposure. I'm going to get noticed. I'm going to perform really well. And then these coaches are going to want me. Guys, those coaches already know who they are looking at and who they are looking for at those specific camps. And those kids that they're recruiting and looking for, one, didn't have to pay for the camp, and two, they were probably already at the facilities and at that school touring the campus, touring the facilities on an unofficial visit 2 to 3 days before you even got there. Those are the guys that they're going to be watching at the camp to see if they are cut out to play on their program. They're not going to notice some guy who they've never even heard of. No disrespect to you, not saying you're not good enough to play there. I just don't want to see you waste your time in those specific scenarios. Now, you might be thinking, well, coach, I've never talked to a college coach. A coach has never came to my school. How do I even get my name out there then? If they don't know about me, how can I make them know about me? Right? So obviously your skills play into that. Obviously you have to be very, very good on film and you have to showcase that you are a college football player. But there are other things that you can do and other camps that you can attend to get your name out there to where maybe those guys will notice you, and the following year going to one of those camps isn't such a bad idea. But what types of camps are those? And that's what we're going to discuss next. Now, before we get into the best camps that you want to attend, fellas, if you are a quarterback or wide receiver and you're not worried about college recruiting, you're just worried about improving this offseason, we are going to be coming out to 15 different cities across the U.S. for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver skill building camps. We're going to be coming out to San Francisco, California, Miami, Florida, Las Vegas, Nevada. All three of those camps are completely sold out, fellas, but then we'll be coming out to North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Portland, Oregon, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Chicago, Illinois, Buffalo, New York, Dallas, Texas. Then we'll be heading out to, I think I already said Dallas, Texas. Then we'll be coming out to Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Detroit, Michigan, and Boise, Idaho, and Los Angeles, California. So again, fellas, if you want some more information on how you can sign up for those camps and want to improve your skills, check out that very first link in the description below. Again, these are not recruiting camps. These are not exposure camps. We're here just to simply get you better. So again, very first link in that description below. If that interests you, let's get back to this video. Now, if you're wondering, well, if college coaches don't notice me and they don't know who I am, well, what camps should I even go to? Should I even go to camps in the offseason? Should I waste my time with any camp? And there are specific camps that you want to attend, and those are called satellite camps. Now, satellite camps are camps where, let's say, for example, it's a small, I live in Southern California, right? In Southern California, every single year, there's a camp called, and I honestly think this one might be a little bit of a waste of time because it's not that long of a camp, so you probably want to find something better, but it's just an example. University of Redlands, right? They're a Division III school. They're probably about an hour from where I live. They have a series of camps every year where they maybe have 12 to 15 different colleges come out to those camps. They're not D1 FBS programs like Alabama, Clemson, all those schools. Those schools have their own camps, and I actually think it's illegal for them to go to these satellite camps, but you will get a lot of D1 FCS schools like Dixie State, for example, or I think they're Utah Tech now, I want to say. And then you'll get a lot of Ivy League schools like Yale, Harvard, things of that nature. Those are the types of camps that you want to try to go to. Now, again, you're not going to those camps in hopes of getting an offer. You are going to those camps in hopes of meeting people. You're going to those camps in hopes of, okay, I'm going to go to this camp. I'm going to shake as many hands as possible. I'm going to get as many Twitter accounts as possible, follow coaches on Twitter, shoot them a message thanking them for their time, trying to open up some dialogue and create a relationship. So when you actually get some solid varsity film, or maybe you already have some solid varsity film, it opens up a line of communication to where you can talk with that coach if you've never spoken to a college coach and never met one before. Now, what if you have met college coaches before? What if they have come to your school, you have talked to them, you're exchanging DMs with them on Twitter? Are those camps that you want to try to attend? Absolutely. You want to figure out, like, let's say, for example, this is just an example. Let's say I'm a recruit in Southern California. And let's say, for example, I've been talking with a coach at like the University of Texas, right? And he's like, let's say he's the receiver coach or something like that. We've been talking. He likes my film. He's come out to California on his recruiting trips and we've spoken. That's a guy who you want to go perform in front of in the offseason. That's not going to be a waste of your time. But if you've never talked to, let's say, Nick Saban before and your hopes are I'm going to go impress Nick Saban and go play for Alabama without ever talking to him, that's a complete stupid decision to make. You want to go where those coaches that already know you are at, and they're actually going to look at you and they actually can put a face to the name. And also you want to go to satellite camps where you could actually meet people and actually build that contact list if you are an unnoticed recruit. Now, are there other camps that you want to try to steer clear of? Absolutely, and that's what we're going to get into next. All right, so if there's one thing that I cannot stand and hate with my entire heart in the game of football is going to be exposure camps. Now, exposure camps, I think, are the biggest waste of time, the biggest waste of money, and they're just a stupid concept, in my opinion, and this is why. I'm going to tell you exactly why I think that. Number one, how many college coaches are at the exposure camp? Probably zero, right? Probably zero coaches, right? So why would I want to go through a middleman? Why would I want to try to impress some guy that may or may not tell a college coach about it? May or may not. And if he does, why would that college coach ever listen? Because that guy is being paid to essentially write down my 40-yard dash time and pro shuttle time, not even look at my film in some cases. These camps don't even care about your film. They just get you out there in t-shirt and shorts, go run a 40, go run a shuttle, and it's a total waste of time, guys. So number one, why would I want to go through a middleman? Number two, these guys have zero credibility. Here's why. Because a college coach, get these programs, college programs, they are millions. Think about how much money the NCAA has. Think about how much money these colleges have, right? You know what they do with that money? They fund the recruiting, like, I guess you could say, like events, or not even so much events, it's the wrong word to use, but they fund the recruiting process for these colleges, right? So they invest millions of dollars into their own recruiting process. So let's say I'm Nick Saban again, University of Alabama. Let's say I got, like a fund. Let's say I have like maybe like $10 million to spend, right? I'm probably going to spend maybe $2 to $3 million of that on travel expenses, on flying coaches all over the country, on recruiting official visits to recruit the guys that I want and that my staff has recruited and scouted. I'm investing a lot of money into that situation if I'm Nick Saban, right? So why would these guys who have spent millions of dollars take advice from some off-brand exposure recruiting camp? It's a total waste of time. It's total BS. They will try to hook you in and bait you in and bait and switch, all this stuff to try to get you to come to their camp and pay the $200 fee. Like, oh, we're going to take down your times. What we're going to do is we're going to send your times to college coaches. We're really well connected. We're going to have a rivals recruiting rep there who is obviously paid to be there. All that stuff is complete BS. You want to try to avoid that? In every sense of the word of avoid, do not go to these exposure camps. It's a total waste of time. Now, if there's an exposure camp out there where, let's say, they have college coaches in attendance, it's a small environment, those college coaches, I guarantee you, are paid to be there. Guys, I've tried to do something like this in the past. I've tried to put on an exposure camp before where I wanted actual college coaches in attendance, and we were going to keep it really small scale. These college coaches want too much damn money to go to these things. If I'm just being completely honest, they're wanting me to pay them way too much money. I would have to get way too many kids to attend and charge a reasonable fee, and it doesn't make any sense. Number one, we would lose money, number one. Number two, those college coaches are being paid to be there, so do they even want to be there? Are they just there for the check? What is it? You know what I mean? So you have to be very, very careful with what you are investing your time and your money into in the off season. So I like to say steer clear of all exposure camps. If you can find a camp where college coaches are in attendance and college coaches truly want to be there, they're truly scouting, and they're actually there seeing you with their own eyes, that's what I recommend. But other than that, I would not go to any exposure camp.